Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session on speeding up Clickstream analytics at Daangn market using Druid. Move on, Linus. Yeah. So my name is Vijay Narayanan. I am a lead solution engineer with Imply. With me, I have Youngjin Ro, who is our software engineer from Daangn market. Together, we will walk you through this agenda for this session. We'll start with a detailed overview into the Daangn market use case. Look at the data pipeline that existed before Druid was implemented. Look at some of the problems that were caused because of that pipeline. Then look at the pipeline with Druid in the picture, and then look at some of the new analytics capabilities that became possible after Druid got implemented. And then summarize what has been done and what the future looks like for this implementation.
Hi, I'm Youngjin Ro, software engineer at Daangn Market. Daangn Market is the largest neighborhood marketplace and community app in South Korea. We have over 18 million monthly active users, and user average session length is over 120 minutes per month. We are running an advertising platform for advertisers who want to target local users. Currently, our ads platform produces over 150 million events per day. In our ad platform, advertisers can use multiple targeting methods. All audiences have 2 active regions via GPS-based authentication, so our ad platform can offer precision targeting. And not just for targeting city or district, advertisers can target only small neighborhood town. This makes useful and powerful marketing solution for small businesses like local bakery and nail shop, and etc. And advertisers also can choose demographic and interest targeting. So travel agencies like Kayak choose your interest targeting option for travel and getting 150% more click-through rate than non-targeting advertise. And another company that runs kids education businesses choose interesting target for education and ages for 40 to 50s, and they get better results than non-targeted advertising.
Yeah, so this is the pipeline that existed before Imply Druid got implemented here at Daangn. So this is a typical pipeline where you have advertising events coming through from various servers getting collected into Kafka, and then being ingested into BigQuery. And then on top of that, there is a batch process that queries BigQuery every hour and every day and puts the results into DynamoDB for consumption by the advertisers. And we can right away see many issues with this pipeline. So as Linus explained earlier, there is a lot of targeted advertising that the advertisers do on this platform. So targeting by geographical information. So like 2 locations like work and home, clearly there is need for real-time analytics in this kind of situation, because you really need to know what's going on right now rather than what happened yesterday. And then if you think of targeting users who are traveling based on interest, for example, because they're traveling, maybe they're traveling in the subway, for example. So if you want to target something to that user, which is useful when the travel is happening, you really need to be able to do that in real time. It's not something that can be done every hour or every day. So those real time, the ability to target and measure in real time was not possible with this pipeline. So can you go to the next one, Linus? Now, apart from that issue of being able to analyze whether the targeted advertising was effective, the whole idea of pre-aggregating to an hour or a day and presenting that to the user is kind of doesn't work in these use cases, because that sort of thing works when you're looking at a static dashboard, but not we need to really understand in real time the effectiveness of advertising. This having pre-aggregated information in DynamoDB does not allow advertisers to drill down and sort of drill up in an arbitrary way. And that becomes critical for the advertisers to really get the maximum bang for the buck from the advertisements. Now, the other big issue was that 2-year queries. So there are queries that are running on entire 2-year time period to measure reach. They're very expensive and slow. And of course, advertisers really want real-time, multi-dimensional performance analytics of the advertising. Right? They are used to advertising platforms that provide that, and not having that capability makes it very likely that they will churn away from Danggeun market. And clearly, having a platform like Druid it helps in retaining and expanding the services to the customers. So, so the architecture that was implemented is shown here. Simple architecture where data is again ingested from Kafka into Imply Druid. The data comes into Kafka in multiple topics, and obviously for the purpose of this kind of analytics, better to have it in a single table in Druid, and that was done by transforming the data. The eventual state of the architecture for that is going to be using kstreams to merge these topics into one topic and bring them into Druid. Druid is queried by API queries that are generated by the Daangn market UI, which is a custom UI. And these queries are directly sent across to Druid. And the query response is about a second or less, as Linus will explain next. So Linus, you can.
So we're learning this edge platform since 2020. So there are so many data from Fast. And BJ doing a great POC for this. So we have right architecture and data scheme for advanced analytics. After whole real-time streaming ingestion pipeline was done, about 22 billion rows of backfilled, and we create some custom dashboards for our platform using our own UI. And the UI fetches data from Druid using concurrent queries. Like BJ said, concurrent queries are being executed with average performance of 1 second. And like BJ said before, advertisers cannot check which audiences most reactive to their ads with pre-aggregated results. And with Druid, we can get any result that advertisers want to see, like analytic data grouped by targeting information such as demographics, geographics, and going to drill down each hourly data and daily data, weekly data. So let's see a live demo. Shows that timeline graphs and the table reports. So here I select almost a week. So saying that September 23, there's 200,000 impressions. And at the 25th September, there's 159,000 impressions. And we can choose what kind of metric can display this graph. So we choose if the click count, then that graph shows the click count. And below the report table also displaying whole results. So cost, impressions, reach count, and click count, and click-through rate, and cost per clicks, and cost per meals, and the another conversion rate. So if advertisers want to see that drill down into the day, and I choose the 23rd, then you can show that the hourly graph for that, what hour the most audiences are reactive to advertisements. So This is the 23rd for September, and we're going to 25th. So we running ads for only these small hours and just for testing. So if the advertisers running whole day, then they can choose some strategies how the most of users are going to react, impression, and or click. So they can choose some effective hours for their advertisement. So, and let's go into the report. So here's the report for the advertisement. So this page shows that what hour the most audiences are actively see the advertisement in this platform. So you can sort by the impressions or click counts, and you can see the targets. So I choose the gender. Then this one shows that some of the whole impressions are 545,000 impressions. So, and this one row shows that 300,000 is the women and 242,000 is the man. And so all these results are from the Druid for the real-time queries. And if the advertiser wants which ages audiences are most reactive, so going to select the ages, and here's some kind of group by ages data. So here's over 50 and 40s, late 30s, early 30s, late 20s, early 20s. So when the advertiser running the ads for the using non-targeting first, and if they see some click-through rate is most effectively for the over 50 or 40s, then after that they can choose the strategies for, we can running this ad for the only over 40 or 50, something like that. And even the advertiser can check the regions for the whole South Korea. So here saying this is the Gyeonggi province and this is a Seoul city. And after that, when you download this data to Excel, there's a second depth regions. So that result can show that such districts in Seoul, like Gangnam district or Gangso district, something like that. And we are using the Druid multistage query engine to join data at ingest. In the above, we are deduping data when loading September and October data after loading September only initially. So the above query ingests only data where ID from the join result is null. So then the screenshot says that after that ingest query works well and only October data are going into the data source. And the multi-stage query engine offers very flexible options than batch ingestion and faster. You can use some SQL query for the external data like in the GCS bucket or S3 bucket. And sometimes we need to handle frequently changing data. For example, experimental group info is sometimes exist or sometimes not. Our platform uses JSON column for this kind of data. I think nested column is a great feature for this. We don't need to transform JSON data and bother about adding columns every time for the JSON values are added. So we're running A/B test for checking machine learning model performances for advertisement recommend. So now our internal data analyst can check the test results easily real time. Pivot is another great benefit when you use Imply Druid, and very easy to get insights. You can get multi-dimensional metrics and comparisons with just some drag and drops or some clicks. We can see differences using demographic targeting or not. So how effective that some targeting options going to our live pivot table. And this one is filtering for the show that demographic targeting is true or false. So click-through rate is almost have some 25% gap for when using you advertise choosing the right demographic targeting or not.
Okay, thanks, Linus. It was really interesting to see how Daangn is using Druid. So the Daangn use case, typical advertising use case, we need, advertisers need real-time visibility into what users are doing, when advertising is effective, and also the ability to do things like, A/B testing, where they may compare two different machine learning models and see what the effectiveness of advertising is for different models. Advertisers also need the ability to do a lot of different types of ad hoc querying from the UI, drill down into greater detail, look at advertising effectiveness from multiple different dimensions. And of course, advertising is a key source of revenue for Daangn market, given the reach it has among the users. So implementing Druid allowed Daangn market to give advertisers access to a powerful analytics platform, which gives them consistently query response of less than a second. In this implementation, we've used the multistage query engine in Druid for ingestion to be able to ingest with joins. And probably more importantly, the ability to use nested columns. This is allowed especially for various testing scenarios, because different experiments are constantly being run on the platform by advertisers, and the ability to directly ingest a JSON and query using JSON path expressions is absolutely crucial in handling that without bloating up the data model, having a lot of unnecessary columns. Nested columns really allows us to do that in a very neat and elegant way. So thanks for joining this session. I hope this was a useful session, and I hope you have a very productive and useful Druid Summit going forward. Thank you.